Next. Next. All right, I got a call from a CEO of a technology company the other day, and in the course of our conversation, he says, "Hey, aren't you one of those guys that was primarily responsible for Intel's success?" And I started saying, "No, I was working for Motorola at the time," and I thought, "Hey, this guy might be onto something here." So I said, "Yeah, I may have been. Because it could have been the work that I did at Motorola might have contributed in the same way that Ford's Edsel designer contributed to the success of GM. Our panelists are actually so famous that there's no need, and therefore they won't get any introduction. There isn't a convicted felon among them. Google their names and you'd probably get as many hits as you would for a star athlete, if only there were as many nerds as there were sports fans.
I always thought one of the more entertaining guys in the microprocessor industry was Jerry Sanders. I mean, it has to be the most true character that the microprocessor industry ever had. And this was another one of my political triumphs, was talking Jerry off this particular ledge. One year, Jerry was keynoting microprocessor for him. The first talk, actually, between Jerry and the AMD, I think it was K5 talk, was actually an Intel talk. But Intel was so secretive about it, they didn't want us to put it on the program. And I had failed to realize that Jerry was not going to be real happy when he saw this Intel talk as the first talk after his keynote. And in fact, the day before that talk, I was giving a seminar, and Jerry had somebody go pull me out of the seminar to talk to him. And in one of his notable lines, he said, "I am just goddamn tired of sucking hind tit to Intel."
All right. Okay, I guess I'm the academic scarecrow up here or something. I think one of the surprising lessons, especially for an academic, is product success and technical success aren't particularly correlated. We know very successful products that aren't so wonderful technically, and vice versa. So the very first hot chips, believe it or not, had graphics coprocessors in it. There's a session on graphics coprocessors. So graphics coprocessors has been in almost every session, and now graphics coprocessors are an even bigger deal than it was.
So I'm going to give a few awards out. The Design by Committee Award, the Cell chip. And it was brave because it not only had a heterogeneous multi-core, meaning, different types of chips, but actually two different instruction sets on the same chip. And I think that deserves special mention. Those of you who know how committees work can understand how this happened. MIPS had, a very nice architecture at the time, the R3000 and the floating point chip that went along with that. And this year, there is still a MIPS processor in the presentation, but probably not one that would have been predicted in 1989, which is the Godson 3 processor, which uses more or less the MIPS instruction set, as I understand it.
I just pulled together a few thoughts on what we've learned. And the first thing I want to comment on is that the notion of a super stealth company, a la MicroUnity, a la Transmeta, I feel is silly and counterproductive. If you're really doing something that's stupid and it becomes obvious, somebody's likely to say, "That's stupid," and maybe you'll be saved from wasting several years of your life. So I divided the world into stealthy kind of things and open sorts of things, and then tried to plot the success or disaster that came out of it. Success in my book is you did what you said you were going to do. Now, Microsoft tells us a lot about what they're going to do, but it often doesn't come out quite as... Apple's probably the only company that's done a good job of keeping something secret, and when they finally tell you, you go, "Wow, that was really neat." Then we come to that lower left-hand quadrant where we have things that were kind of stealthy and didn't work out. Dave, I'm sorry, but in terms of Transmeta as a chip supplier, I think we have to put you there. And then, of course, we have the Bush administration, which is very stealthy and has been an absolute disaster. Second observation, the return on investment that you will get from investing in lawyers is generally better than the return of investment from investing in marketing people. So fire all the marketing people, because even if you lose in the marketplace, you can still win in the courtroom. Now, people might call you a patent troll, but hey, you can cry all the way to the bank. And finally, those of us who are still around in 20 years are still going to be complaining, no matter how fast, they tell us these chips are, that they are lousy when you run Windows. Thank you.